Hey, welcome back to the 928 series. Today I'm going to do parking brakes, so let's get right to it. First thing first, the backing plates. Yours might be rotten like mine were. I made some little aluminum filler pieces, pop riveted them in, and bolted them on with washers. This one, I had one good hole, but the other three were rough and broken through. This thing had tie wraps on it holding it together, so it's aluminum. Cleaned it up. That worked fine. Just molded a couple pieces of aluminum. This is nice and secure. Second thing, shoes. So listen, I like to support the local, our favorite 928 big three vendors as much as anybody, but they're ripping us off when it comes to parking brake shoes. Do yourselves a favor, guys. Rock Auto. They're like 20 bucks delivered. Fraction of the price of what the specialist sites are asking. It's parking brake shoes. I mean, what do you need, really? Take a look at them. They're identical to what you're going to get with the Porsche brand on there. A couple things people have said before about some of these. The web might be a little thicker and it wouldn't fit the adjuster. So just check that. These fit just fine. Make sure your adjusters are all clean and everything. I'll go into that in a second. On this one, and I ran into this on the other side, the notch over here, that is for the cable end adjuster. Make sure that's clean. This is a little bit beveled, rough cut. Look at it compared to this other one. This one here, there's hardly any bevel at all, any notch there at all. If you put that on like that, you're not going to get your shoes close enough together on initial installation to clear the drum. So I'm just going to take the Dremel and clean up these notches a little bit to make sure that I can get those in there pretty tight. Alright, well, I think I cut most of that out, but there you go. Now I've got a couple of notches that'll be fine. Those will fit right in. Second thing is, my stuff was pretty well rusted. I've gone ahead and evapo rusted, taken everything apart, sprayed it with rust converter. That's why they're black like that. This is the second part of the adjuster. The first one is over here, which connects to the cable. I've PV blastered and worked my cables in and out, so these are pretty loose right now. I'm going to go and put a little bit of lithium grease on all the connection points. This one here, this just snaps into the little pins right over here. And make sure we're getting some. I'm going to turn my light on. There we go. I like to put a little lithium grease on all of the wearing surfaces, bearing surfaces. So I spent a lot of time getting these rust free and moving around loose. So this thing just folds up like this. Why don't I bring you over and show you what that looks like, because sometimes people have a question of how that comes together. All right, I'll put that together again just so you see. So this is the pivot part. That there's a clevis on the end that's connected to the cable, and this has to pivot freely. This piece here will snap on to these. It's just a press fit. Once this is together, there's no way this is coming apart, and these little legs go over the other pivot. So as the cable pulls in, it expands this thing, and that's where the braking action comes from. And these run on a couple little wear pads right over here. I'm going to go ahead and Also spray a little bit of lithium at on the backing plate. There's a couple of raised bosses that the shoes slide on. Alright then, time to get the shoes on. Make sure you got your notch side facing the adjuster. And you put the spring in. And you put the spring in the other one through that first hole there. That's going to be a little tricky. You're trying to get the notch on the shoe and the notch on the tang there. But you got to maintain a little bit of tension to keep them in the hole. And then you work your shoe over. Okay, so just like that. And I've got the spring connected, goes inside the adjuster, inside the lever, and then these are going to want to pull forward a little bit because of the spring. So then I'm going to take, you should be able to let that a little bit. I'm going to take one of my hold down springs. Now, these actually were not new. I had them, they were pretty good shape, and you're going to stick that through the slotted hole there in the bottom shoe and through the hole in the backing plate. I'm going to take a regular screwdriver and put that in there. You can actually do it through the adjusting hole on the axle. It works pretty good. And then I can reach around the back and I'm pushing this through the hole in the back and I'm feeling around for the lever there to get that over that lip. I'm going to show this to you. Give me that screwdriver right there. Make sure I've got it in place. I'm putting it in and I'm turning it quarter turn. That way the little hook on the spring should hook over a little ridge in the backing plate. Let me go ahead and show you how you can check that. Alright, I don't know if it's a little blurry, but here's the back of the hook that came through and it's pointing towards the front of the car over that little ridge there. When you have it like that, you know it's right. Alright, I'm going to do the top spring the same way. I'm going to hold this shoe roughly over the hole. I've rotated the axle. So I have one of the adjuster holes here. I can put that in. I can turn it. It feels like I have it. I'm going to grab my mirror real quick. Get my mirror in there. Get my mirror in there somehow. With the flashlight. A little harder to see the top one. And yeah, looks like I've got it. So then I can just pull my screwdriver out. Now, I still have some room to put the adjuster in. First, I'm gonna spray a little lithium grease in there. These, again, I derusted them and sprayed them with rust converter. The actual brass gear, the gear adjuster is not steel, it's actually brass or bronze, I don't know, one of those. I'm lubing up the threads as well. Let me move the camera so you can see this a bit better. Alright, so I've lubed up the adjuster. I'm gonna put it down all the way in but not jam it too tightly. And with the gear to the top, I'm going to slide this onto the notches in the shoes. I could have done this before, but there's room enough to move the shoes to get that on there. All right. Wiping my hands often, trying not to get too much greasy fingerprints on the shoes, but those are, that's on there fine. It's all the way in and down. Now, another tricky part, the last spring, the adjuster spring. All right, I'm going to put one end of that in the bottom hole. I'm going to put a string around it. I have to move my light a little bit because I need some room here to work. I've got a string around the, and then I like to also grab it with some needle nose up and over, and in the hole. Once you got it in the hole there, just cut that string and pull it out, and that's in there. All right, and so now what you have is that's the spring that holds the adjuster. So when I line up the adjusting hole here, take a larger screwdriver, I can go here and see as I do this, the spring goes in between all of the gear teeth and it actually opens up the adjuster. For now, I'm going to close it all the way so I can get the shoes on. Because new shoes will be very tight fitting on here. Quick inspection, but everything looks pretty good. All right, quick check. Adjuster's all the way up. Lubrication is done. Springs are secure. I've tested the adjuster, it works. You want to make sure over here on this side that the levers are in both their notches. These ends of the shoes should be pretty close to this stop here. Try to get them even on the backing plate. Here's another little trick I've learned. Brand new shoes might have a little bit of a ridge on them. Just go ahead and take a file and bevel this outer edge just a little bit. That will help you get the drum on. Give a couple of strokes of the file. Don't worry, you're not taking any life off your shoes. Just like that. I like to spray a little brake clean to get the fingerprints off. Don't spray your grease off of everything that you did. Can't help, we have a few fingerprints on there. Time to get the drum. Alright, another little trick here with the drum disc combo. I did not get these cut. They're just cleaned up with a wire wheel. You might have a little bit of a ridge over here. Well, you might even have one with the new drum. I just take a file that has a round profile and I just go around. There's no burrs and what have you around here. we'll try to set that on. Now you got to line up. You want to look where your adjuster is and where your retaining holes are. So I've got retaining hole, retaining screw hole, adjuster. All right, disc is set. Holes line up. So you can see your adjuster through there. Put your little retaining screws in. If you didn't have to burn them off when you took the thing off. Torque them to exactly 7 foot-pounds. Click. Click. Time to adjust. Alright, as far as adjustment goes, you want to get your BSFS that fits. My true BSFS does not fit in there. Your second BSFS fits right in here. I can feel the notches. Okay. Now, you want to make sure that your parking brake lever is all the way down and that cable is loose, no slack. So first we're going to start adjusting this, and I can feel it. I like to take my round shank screwdriver, turn the wheel till I can't turn it anymore. I can feel I'm starting to get there. Moving this way is the locking. Okay, so now, not quite locked. Pretty well locked there. Yep. So now I want to loosen it one notch at a time until I can move it. Just move it. Then loosen it 2 more notches. Let me find it again. Come on now. Come on now. One, 2. So now I'm fine. So now I gotta go up in the car and adjust the parking brake lever. Alright, of course I've done the other wheel too, just didn't show that. They're all exactly the same. Here in the car, I've taken the inside covers off and just loosened up the lock nut and this, slacks this out some more, so that you can have a couple of clicks that are free. But then you're supposed to have 4 clicks to lock the wheels. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see. Yep, she's locked up. Now I'm gonna release it down. And now she's free again. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.